Hey, today we're going to talk about the missing free Alpha Commander armor. The game director talks about how it will take time since most devs are out on Christmas break. Plus, the Arrowhead team have made a statement about it as well. We'll go over information about the recent Fabricator nerf. It might just be an accident after all, and there's so much more I'll be going over. If you would like to support the channel, please hit the like button below by tapping the thumbs up button at any point, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We all know that the free Alpha Commander armor was announced on the 12th of this month for both PC and console. Unfortunately, if you're on PlayStation, you haven't received the free armor just yet, and there's a reason. The game director at Arrowhead Game Studios confirmed they're looking into it, and most of the developers are on their Christmas break. The response was made after a player here asked about the missing armor, since 7 days have already passed and no one on console has received the armor just yet. The game director Cefez replied back and said, "I think they're looking into it. Most of us have gone on Christmas vacation though, so it might take a little bit of time." Not only did the game director respond back to that, but also the Arrowhead team made an announcement about the Alpha Commander armor and wrote, "It has come to our attention that our Christmas gifts to some of you were intercepted by the Illuminate, who were tipped off by a small band of voteless sympathizers in the warehouse. Please bear with us whilst we re-educate those responsible and work to reattain the supplies. We are aware of Helldivers not currently receiving the Alpha Commander and Killzone armors. We will investigate further in the new year." Well, there you go. I've seen a few comments about this particular topic in the past 2 or 3 videos, and I hope this information is helpful for those that asks about it. I know a lot of you are concerned about it, wondering if you're going to receive the free Alpha Commander and Killzone rewards or not. And the answer is yes, you will get it. However, it might take some more time since most of the developers at Arrowhead Game Studios are on vacation, and rightfully so because they definitely need a break. It's been a wild year. Nonetheless, the armor and weapons should drop next month. Speaking of armor, there's a fellow Helldiver that had a question about the pre-order armors and if Arrowhead is willing to make it a purchasable item. The Arrowhead game director mentioned it's tricky, and I'd imagine so. It almost feels like the developers are essentially walking on eggshells. Anyway, the response is right here, and Cefez said, "I am listening. The tricky part with the pre-order armors is that we basically made a promise to everyone who pre-ordered that they'd get exclusive access to those armors. Going back on that means breaking that promise, and it's something we need to consider." Okay, a few seconds ago I brought up how they're basically walking on eggshells, and I think so because it's hard for them to make certain decisions without being afraid of causing some sort of controversy. So my question for you, do you think this would induce another huge controversial issue if they were to put up the pre-order armors for purchase? Personally, I believe it could very well cause another backlash, considering a lot of players were not happy with the pricing as of late with the recent crossover. And who knows, someone might think, oh, they're just trying to be greedy, or they're trying to make more money and whatnot, you know? Fill in all the blanks, right? Whatever the reason would be. I think they should keep it as an exclusive for those that had faith in the game and decided to pre-order. Nonetheless, let me know how you feel about it in the comments below. Continuing along, the game director also replied to a member that mentioned how the update was good, but the $22 pack for the recent crossover was insane, and that they're afraid they'll do something like that again. The game director Cefez wrote back and said, "We are taking in all the feedback. Arrowhead as a company has a very generous approach to the content offering we make, and even if we make mistakes, we're always considering the player's best interests at heart. We wanted to create some premium optional content with the Helldivers set to help offset some of the steep development costs we're facing. And any money we make, we can keep reinvesting in the game to allow us to keep delivering free cool stuff to you all. The prices are not coming from a place of greed." In my opinion, I don't believe they were approaching the crossover with a greedy mindset. Sure, the price was up there and it wasn't a good look, but it makes sense. They want more revenue for more content. I've said before I don't agree with the pricing, yet I understand both sides. As a consumer, I dislike how it was priced, maybe not as much as others, but I wasn't a fan, and simultaneously I saw what they were aiming for. They were trying to earn more money to reinvest in the game, maintain success, and offer free content in return. A lot of us don't understand what it takes to run a business, and it might be tough to see where they're coming from, and that's okay. We're mostly consumers, and when we see a price tag that's outrageous, we're sure to get a bit upset. Maybe more than others, like myself. I wasn't happy about it, but I wasn't pissed off either. I just understood where the developers were coming from. So on a different note, if you didn't know, the Arrowhead team designed the latest Helldivers 2 Special Edition PlayStation controller, and that's really cool. We know this due to the game director's recent post about the controller, where he explained to a player that they designed the theme, but don't control the pricing. The response was made after a player made a remark about it, but the post was deleted. The game director wrote, "The DualSense controller is completely on Sony. We only designed it, but they're managing the sales, production, and distribution of it." Hopefully no one is upset about the controller pricing. Personally, I found this post to be informative since I didn't know the Arrowhead team designed the controller theme and what it would look like. It's incredibly well done, and they did a great job on the overall theme of it. As for the pricing, it's no different from the special edition Fortnite controller, which was also priced at $84.99. So it's not the devs or the Arrowhead team's fault as far as the price tag goes. Now, honestly, it just seems like items in general are getting expensive in the last year or so, whether you're buying a brand new game, DLC, food at the store. It's just expensive everywhere. Next up, let's go over an accidental nerf, or rather a possible bug, that the Arrowhead team unintentionally made. I brought up this topic in another video about how they had possibly nerfed the stratagem jammers on automaton planets. For example, right now, if you were to shoot a fabricator that's attached to a stratagem jammer, sadly the jammer will not blow up with the fabricator. With that being said, we've got a response from the Arrowhead support team after I had asked if the jammer had received a change, and they wrote back essentially saying they'll pass the information to the devs. So it looks like it could very well be an accident, an unintended change that happened during the Illuminate patch development. Now, usually they'll respond back, letting you know if it was an intended change, so I'd give it a few more days and see if an upcoming hotfix or patch will fix the issue. Also, as a side note about bugs, we've talked a little bit about the first-person view stuttering bug in a previous video. I went over how the support team member previously said they're aware of it, and we recently got some new information that it's going to take some time to be resolved, considering most of the Arrowhead team is on Christmas break. We know this since the game director responded to a player, essentially stating that they're aware of it, however it's going to take some time to get it patched. I suspect there will be an update next year, or rather next month, and that is probably when we'll see another update that will fix the problem altogether. Overall, it's not a problem, and the Arrowhead team for sure deserves a break from all the madness as of late. A refresher is essentially what they need, and I'm sure once they're back in the studio, they'll start pumping out content and patches that will fix any issues we're experiencing. Moving along, we have a great question from a fellow Helldiver that asks if the developers ever thought about creating a radio station for the fast recon vehicle so that we can drive around and rock out. The chief creative officer replied back to that post and said, "Yes, that has been on the drawing board for some time, but is yet to be decided on. In my opinion, it would be a stellar feature to have a radio station with the fast recon vehicle. They could even throw in random chatter about what's going on in Super Earth, as well as different genres of music. Hell, even Pillistead could feature himself on the radio station. That would be pretty cool. What do y'all think about a radio station feature with the FRV? Would you like it? Or is that possibly too much Grand Theft Auto for you?" The second question that the creative chief officer responded to was about armor issues. A Helldiver here brought up that they might sound rude, but they wanted to know why almost every armor type seems to be bugged to some degree with meshes and textures. The CCO replied back with, "Hey, I don't think you are too rude. It is a fair question. It comes down to one of the two things: review by leads, directors, and QA to catch the issues, or two, the item's being finished too late, so there is no time to act on review, QA, but the update needs to go out. We are working to improve these processes to increase our accuracy, and it is getting better." This could be why there have been so many strange bugs in the past, especially with the capes that are not aligned up correctly with the logos, as well as with the recent Killzone 2 armor, where you can see right here that the head is basically floating, which is obviously not supposed to happen. All in all, it's due to them not testing the patch thoroughly enough before releasing, which results in most of the bugs we see. If it's an armor related bug, I don't think it's too big of a problem unless it's absolutely game breaking to a point where, you know, the passives do not work properly. If so, then yeah, I can see a problem with that. The next question is sort of worth bringing up. It's kind of vague, the answer is anyways, but this player wanted to know if there's any mech rework changes that are coming in the near future, and Pillistead said maybe, but there are discussions about how the exosuit is and where it sits in the ecosystem. So do not worry, they're still looking at the mech suits and exosuits and whatnot, so I'd say they're possibly going to change some things up in the future, but there's nothing, you know, definitive, right? There's no definitive answer on it. Now it's time to go over your suggested loadout. If you want to be featured, post a comment below of what you're using and I'll showcase it. Also, if you've already done so, post it again and I'll take a look at it. Speaking of which, I'm still going through a lot of comments and I'm still trying to feature your loadout, so it's easier if you post your comment again, that way I know where it's coming from. Anyways, we have a bug loadout from a player named Red Caleb who recommended this loadout. I'm going to test it out on the Illuminate instead. I know you said it's great for bugs, but what we have today is the newest STA SMG that shreds the Overseer's armor like it's nothing, making it one of the best SMGs to use on the Illuminate. The secondary is going to be the Verdict that also does a great job at destroying the Illuminate armor and taking out the Volus without any issues. I like to pair it with the gas grenade so that way I'm stripping off armor and applying damage over time. These stratagems include the Eagle Strafer Run for depleting shields and crowd control. What I'd like to use is to strip off the armor off of the shields and then use the recoilless to blow it up. You can also use the Orbital Strike as well, since that was a recommended stratagem. We also have the fast recon vehicle for getting away from enemies, applying damage over time, and overall it's a nice tool to use to get around the map. I'm sure this is a lot better on the bug plants, but it's exceptionally good on the Illuminate. It's another loadout that deserves 5 stars. Thanks Red Caleb for commenting on this, and yeah, thank you. With all the information being said, this is your Helldivers 2 news. If you guys would like to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below, and I might just select you for the next one. The first comment is by Mr.S9783. Having a Helga's voice would be sweet. Also wouldn't mind additional voices. They honestly should have a fan contest where the winners get flown out to record themselves and put into the game. That'd be sweet and a hell of a promotional stunt. You know what? I absolutely love this idea, and if Arrowhead said, hey, you guys are flowing here for free, but you also won't get paid for it, I would be okay with it. Absolutely. And one of you guys requested me to say Sweet Liberty my leg in another video, and you guys thought I did a great job on it. So, hey, I'm willing to do it. The second top comment is by White Glint 7694. I will happily spend some money on voice packs. And a lot of you would also do the same. Maybe not everybody, because I did see a comment saying hell no or something like that. But yeah, definitely would love to see some new voice packs. The last and final comment is from Lost Courier. Your idea for a Dead Space crossover is awesome. Me personally can't wait for a Starship Troopers crossover. A Starship Troopers style Helldiver armor set would be awesome, especially to pair with the Tenderizer, which is a weapon heavily inspired by the rifle the troopers used in the movie. Might be a bit hard to secure the license, but it would be an incredible addition. Hey, you know what? Thank you for your comment about the Dead Space crossover idea that I had, and you know what? A Starship Troopers idea is also a really good idea, and I would love to see that as well. Those right there are the top 3 comments. I hope you guys have a great Christmas Eve tomorrow, as well as a Christmas, in general. Hope it all goes well, eat good, celebrate with your family, enjoy life in general, man, because you only got one, and appreciate your family and everything that they do, as well as, hopefully they're appreciative of what you do as well if you're helping out with the family and whatnot. But overall, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel over the years. It means a lot to me. You guys already know why. So yeah, overall, thank you guys again for watching the video, commenting, giving this video a like, and all that you guys do. It truly means a lot to me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.